Yeah.
All right. Well, Tech Tuesday on Friday.
Freaky Friday,
Freak,
Tech Tuesday.
Freaky Friday, Tech
This
Tuesday.
is Israel, and my name is Michael. Know how it works?
Yes, I'm going to answer the maintenance questions. So this is one if you want to disregard. We may not bring it. Noah, thanks for letting us know the audio is good. So yeah, we were unable to knock one out on Tuesday, but hey, we figured nobody would mind if we jumped on here on a Friday as well. Um, a couple of quick things. Thanksgiving coming up. I want to make sure everybody knows we will be closed all next week. I think we're going to have Texan doing work some off and on. So if your boat's in here, don't worry. It's not going to just sit for a week. But we're going to be kind of skeleton crew. So if you do have any issues, I'd still encourage you. At least it's worth messaging us and seeing. But we are technically closed, so hopefully today or tomorrow get anything you need for the rest of the week. And of course, tackle and everything will still be online, and I think he's still going to be shipping stuff out most of the week. So, yeah, that's what we got going on. You doing all right?
Yes.
Having fun down there?
Always.
Ready for Thanksgiving?
Yes. Favorite holiday.
All right.
Christmas second.
So, guys, I see we've already got a few questions, and I pulled some off, but please drop us a question if you've got any for some tech questions. Shane. All right. So, Shane, so you talked to the guy at Avid. He's going down to fix the gas issue and the fender issue. So, Shane just bought the new Avid 20XB, and he's been great with providing us a lot of feedback. Every new brand, no boat's perfect. Every new brand, there's little quirks, little things. And one of the issues is the gases. They're having an issue getting the gas in at a reasonable rate. I guess that would be the way.
Yeah.
So you can fill it up. It's just taking a little bit longer. Sounds like Avid's been jumping in and working on a quick fix to that.
And it's not everybody.
There, we're back. All right, let's see if it'll hold. All right, see that Bentley has two versions of the 200 Cruise, the model that can handle a 115 and an SP that can only handle a 90. What is the difference in the boats? So
that's a Michael question.
Yeah, that's kind of a. So to be honest with you, I'm still diving in exactly what changes Bentley's had. We've actually got our rep coming down, I think next week. We'll be going through. I'm going to hopefully sit down with him and talk through a little bit more of what they got going on at Bentley. I don't know off the top of my head of any physical structural changes that they've made with the boats per se. It's not uncommon to see boat brands that will do kind of a more budget friendly boat. That's just they put the rating plate on there. That's a good question. It's something that's on my to-do list to go research and get to know. And I'm sure one of our other sales folks who deals with those day in and day out, Melissa or Katie, are probably, they know a heck of a lot more than I do. So I will try and get an answer and get that posted here in the comments when we get done. Yeah, that's going to be a good little boat. I mean, to be honest with you, with that 90 on there, I don't know the exact pricing on there, but I mean, you're talking low 20s. So it's a good little boat. we've been really, really impressed with Bentley so far. So excited to get Ted over here to talk more about what's going on. All right, what's up?
What's up, Michael?
Michael. I don't know why some of these icons aren't coming through. I don't know. Lots of changes in Facebook and Apple and all that kind of stuff going on recently, so that may be the issue. Let's grab one of these questions. So this was, I guess, so an authorized. So this was a comment that I saw in the Yamaha group not too long ago. Authorized Yamaha dealer. Did not cover entire warranty bill. Was told Yamaha paid half of my bill because Yamaha doesn't pay for labor diagnostics or water testing. Charge me the rest. Is that true? I know it's not.
Well, I mean, it could be.
Okay.
It depends on the situation. So I'd have to have a lot more info. But as far as if it's a warranty issue, typically they pay for everything. Now, sometimes they won't pay for a water test, depending on the situation. But as far as the full diagnosis, there's probably been some circumstances where maybe something outside of the warranty happened to the boat, and they did what we call a goodwill, and they covered part of the issue. But without specifics, it's hard to really dive into that too deep.
Yeah, so I went to when I saw that question and talked to him and talked to Angela. Between the two of them, they're definitely the ones dealing with the majority of our warranty claims around here. And the biggest thing I wanted to get across from the discussion I had was it is technically possible. It's just extremely rare and uncommon. I would flip that like what you said. More common would be that Yamaha would give a good faith or goodwill repair if it's just out of warranty or something like that.
Or circumstances happen and something happened to the boat that wasn't the failure wasn't based off workmanship and the product breaking. Like you could have got bad gas or water. Water could have got in the motor and caused a failure. That's just not necessarily the circumstance, but sometimes things can happen outside of a warranty issue, and Yamaha's actually pretty good about helping people out even when that happens. So, but they don't. Sometimes they won't cover the labor; they'll give you the part.
Well, I know that's kind of an awkward question to have out there on social media. The answer is technically yes, but the reality is that Yamaha does a lot more supporting and standing behind their product than that one minor incident. So, all right, let me go back over to the comments and see. 1998 model. All right. If you made another comment, Justin, I am not seeing your comments jumping in. I don't know if it was the glitch that we had on the internet. So drop us another. If you dropped us a question, then throw something else in there, and we'll see. Still prefer Yamaha from others. Well, they do build a great product. All right. Keep on the Yamaha. So out of the Yamaha group, I saw a guy that was asking. Obviously, he's gotten a lot of different opinions. Can you run a Yamaha using the installed motor flush hose on the motor? Are you not supposed to run it?
Per Yamaha, no, you're not supposed to run it. It's made to flush the water passages out. Now, that being said, if you got if you got enough water pressure, can it be done? Yeah, but it kind of starves the water. Really, what it's going to hurt is your water pump if you don't get enough water to stay on top of the pump, because it's actually pumping against the opposite force. And usually when you put a water hose on there, you're going to get some air in there, so it doesn't do real well with that. So the best method And I know that it's hard to do like on the SHO low water pickups, but they do make a flush attachment to where you can run the engine on
Okay.
the hose from the bottom. You would just have to get one of those.
Okay. All right. So,
Officially, no.
but maybe in a pinch, but
You
officially,
didn't hear from me.
no. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it makes sense to get the right equipment
Have
to do the right.
I ever done
rates.
it? I can't say.
All right, we'll move on. Here was another one is, especially here in Alabama, we're finally getting a little bit of cold weather, dipping down back to the winterization. Besides changing the lower unit oil and fogging the cylinders, is there anything else I could be doing? This is out of the skier group, so.
I would say get, before you, like I try to say this every time we talk about fuel, just because things change so much, I might as well throw it out there. But they used to recommend filling the tanks all the way up. That way there's less oxygen, surface area for oxygen to degrade the gas. But these days the gas is in such poor quality, especially with ethanol, that it's better just to get rid of as much of the gas as possible. That way, you've got good clean gas at the beginning of the season. So I would also say that if you're going to change your engine oil, if you're not a bass fisherman and you don't fish every week during the wintertime, I would say change your oil at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
Engine oil, that is. You can change the gear oil because it's sealed,
Right.
at any time.
Okay.
And check it for water. You need to be checking it for water or loss of fluid pretty regularly anyway.
Okay.
At least 2 or 3 times a year, especially before the winter. If you get water in there and you keep it outside and it freezes, it's just something's gonna come loose. It's either gonna spit the bearing carrier out the back or it's gonna crack the side of the housing.
So with the Skeeter in mind and the conversation we're just having with John Cox and had his boat in, the discussion of that remote drain plug.
Yeah.
As guys they're going to get out and fish when it's freezing. What are your recommendations on those?
If it's really hard to turn, don't turn it.
Okay.
We're talking about remote drain plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's hard to turn and there's a reason, it's probably frozen.
Okay.
So what you might have to do is, if you're at the ramp and that happens, you can back the boat up. You can go back there and see if you can push it in.
Okay.
And if it still won't push in and it's frozen, just back the boat in the water about a foot, not enough to drown it, but you can back it up, and that water's cold, but it's probably warm enough to thaw the ice out, and you can sit there and just work. You can see my hand.
Yep.
Work that little thing slower. And the same thing with the live well control valve, because they can freeze up too. So if you get some water on there, you may be able to break it loose and work it shut.
So maybe, for the guys that are able to store their boats in a nice warm garage, get it charged, ready for that tournament or whatever, the night before, while you got it warm, just close it up and.
Same thing with your live well.
Yeah.
Close it up.
Honestly, that's something that never had occurred to me.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe that helps somebody out there. Even if you've owned boats for a while, I know those systems are still fairly new and making their way onto some of the boats. So, all right. Do you recommend running Seafoam or any other product through the gas tank every time filling up, or how often?
I would, if I was going to use an additive that's not based off of one of our manufacturers, and I've had a few guys that work for, I'm not going to say which specific ones, but they've worked for some of our manufacturers, and they're not supposed to recommend any products other than theirs probably, but off the record, they've told me that the StarTron seems to work pretty good. So if you're going to run one, I would say maybe run it, try it, look at the reviews. I don't run it in my boat because I don't have one. So sorry. But I can tell you what other people tell me, and they seem to like the StarTron.
Okay.
I would recommend Yamaha Ring Free Plus.
Okay.
I would recommend the Mercury Quick Clean product, Quick Clean, Quick Care. all their stuff. You have to run. Theirs is coming at 3 different
Okay.
bottles. Yamaha comes in 1 bottle. So if you only want to pour 1 bottle, you can use the Yamaha. They all pretty much use the same chemicals. So it's Techron. You've heard of Chevron with Techron.
Gotcha.
It's Techron is a carbon debonder. And the Ring Free Plus is the carbon debonder with a little bit of. It's not Marvin's Mystery Oil, but it's kind of like that.
Yep.
And it keeps things stable, the fuel stabilized, and it also keeps like your injectors, some of the moving parts a little slicker, and it also can prevent carbon from building up on like your valves and your rings and stuff. So I would say maybe use some of that.
Mike Godfrey, winterize a boat. Did you guys move up north or something?
Yeah, North Alabama, that's what we call it.
Yeah.
NA and LA.
You get some guys that are going to put their boats up, especially if they're not fishermen. There's a lot of recreational
we've had
boats.
some weird fronts where Alabama was colder than like Wisconsin at that point. So.
Well, it's 2020. There's no telling what's going to happen.
That's right.
All right, Justin. 1998 Mariner 175 EFI going to replace all fuel lines as their original. How important is to clean the VST, pulse pump, and flow injectors, or am I overcomplicating this?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's good to have. I know the pulse pump gets weak over time. It's got a diaphragm in it and it's got springs in it, and they stretch out.
Okay.
And then the springs get weak, and so things don't work as well as they used to. But I would say, maybe if you're not having a problem, it's not that big of a deal. But if you want to do some preventative stuff, it's not always a bad thing to replace that stuff. Just I would go into that with the precaution, when you're replacing lines on the actual engine, that some of those lines are molded lines and they go around things, or they're a certain diameter on the outside because they're made to go behind certain things and go in front of things without making contact and causing any obstruction. So I've seen people that replace lines and then suddenly they got a kinked line and having engine running issues, or their throttle's hanging open because the hose is now making contact with the throttle arm,
Right.
or their time and advance arm gets stuck, advanced, or whatever. So you just have to be careful when you're doing that stuff.
Okay.
And then injector flow, it's not a terrible idea to have the injectors clean, but typically injectors, when I hear people talk about cleaning their injectors, 9 times out of 10, the injector itself is fine. It just needs, a new filter in it, and you can't get a filter just anywhere.
All right.
But we do that here, and we sell the filters too. Where a lot of people know.
Well, I know I approached that with a guy that thinks about I'm paying someone else to do that because I'm not a wrench turner. That's not what I like to do. But
it's kind of like if you did it, they'd have to repair what you fixed.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or I would just take days and days watching YouTube videos to figure out how to do it, and then
still not do it.
Yeah, completely waste my time. But my philosophy on a lot of that stuff is just if you got stuff torn apart, there's labor costs that you're paying to
please don't
tear the stuff.
Yeah, please don't bring it to me torn apart.
Well, yeah. No. What I'm saying is, if you got a mechanic getting into it, I'd rather go ahead and pay them once to replace stuff, to pull cowlings off and open everything else up, than do it and then 6 months later have to pay you to do it again. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but having dealt with a lot of, I'm more the user than the fixer. I go break stuff. That's what I like to do.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it. And I'm glad we were able to squeak one out on Friday. Next week, most likely, we won't be doing a Tech Tuesday. Like I said, we will be closed all next week. And
probably not going to do a Freaky Friday.
Probably not going to do. Well, no, I'm going to go eat some turkey, and then I'll probably be asleep most of next Friday after eating turkey.
I'm down with that.
That's kind of my plan. But guys, happy Thanksgiving, since we probably won't talk to you again. And we hope you have a great week. And we'll see you after Thanksgiving, most likely. But we got we're gonna still get some fishing report and some of that stuff out. Yeah, get in here if you need anything today or tomorrow. We'll be up until noon on Saturday. And if you're in a pinch, message us, and we make no promises, but you never know.
Do our best.
All right. See you guys. Thanks so much.